Hi, we're into the next segment of this little bunch of things about worship and worship leading and here at Grace, and just some things that are on my mind, and I wanted to put them here so that you can have a think about them. They're just my views, and I don't want to go off about that again. I did in the last session, but I'm just wanting to identify or hope that we can help identify something that we need to discern really clearly for a worship experience, a corporate worship experience, to be effective, and that is to know the difference between what is relational or relationship based and what is religiously based. I cannot tell you how easy it is to fall back into a religious form approach to worship, and we have been around long enough now of the people who've been involved in charismatic or Pentecostal and so forth, to have developed a style or an approach to worship. We used to make jokes about 3 fast, 3 slow, and all kinds of rituals like that that developed so many rituals. See, a corporate worship experience is not like a sing along in the pub. It's not like karaoke. It's not like a performance. It is the leader is actually helping people to activate, make a decision, to start a journey and continue on the journey, and then helping to know what's going on so you can help people keep on relating and responding to God. So first of all, you've got to help people start. Second of all, when God starts to, presence starts to be known, you've got to know what to do to respond. If there's prophetic or whatever else, you've got to know what to do. And by that I mean respond. This is a relationship. It is a relationship, see? Worship is a relationship. So, as I said in the first one, we're talking about, deciding to relate. Deciding to relate to God. That's me. Experiencing God in the journey of relationship. That's God and me. And then responding is God and me and God and me and God, or God and us and God and so forth. So, this is the relationship journey. So, if you just start worship, here is, one of the things that gets me upset. It gets me upset when people, for example, start into worship and everybody's just wandering around and so forth. Now, if you're going to, this is why some of those religious forms developed. They had a thing called call to worship. And this was, hey, people, we're going to worship God now. This is a collection. This is a group of people. We're not like, just a nightclub where you might have all sorts of things happening in the room. We want to gather people to worship experience. And we're worshiping the Most High God. So, I'm not now talking about, making people feel guilty. I'm just saying, let's get people engaged. Let's stop that and start this. And so I think that's the first thing. So if you just start into worship yourself and think that everyone's just going to jump in, well, they might eventually, but just think of what would be the difference between that and calling people. You're the leader. Hey, it's time for dinner. That's what happens in our household. In our household, dinner time. Nola had cooked a wonderful meal. All the kids were there. Time for dinner. Everybody comes, and we wait. Aren't you coming? Are you coming? Oh, good. We're going to wait for you. Hey, come on. We're around the table. This is our time. And so this is the same with the table of the Lord, as it were. I think that's worth doing. And so don't just think that because you offer songs, or even if you've got a great voice, or even if you've got great skills or musical skills or whatever, that doesn't do it. Person to person. This is us. That's the one another's of Scripture. The reason why there's one another's is because sometimes I don't get it and I need you to say something to me. Sometimes you don't get it and you need me to say something. Well, when we engage with worship, we're not just worshipping because we want to worship. We're worshipping because, yes, we want to worship, but we want one another to worship. And we're not happy until everybody's worshipping. That's what happens in heaven. In heaven, everybody worships. Nobody reads the paper while other people are worshipping. So if you just expect people to do that and think that because we have this idea now that we come into the room and then the instruments play and people worship, that is a religious format. A relationship format may start out exactly the same, but its motive, its intention, its anticipation is totally different. It's relational. And so everything's measured by relationship. And so the leader needs to lead by relationship. The leader, he or she, needs to be conscious of what's going on amongst people who are engaged and wants to help people and have a look and see. Don't just be lost in your own. Now, worship, sure, worship yourself, but you've got to have two. Leaders got to have two awarenesses. One of their own worship of God, and two of what's happening out there, because a leader is simply responsible for that collective experience. And I want to tell you, I hate it when the people of God get a bad deal. Whether it's a sermon, it's a prayer, it's worship leading, or anything else, whether it's the room, whether it's the way the room's set up, or whatever else. I love the idea that we think worshipping God together is the greatest experience, because it is an experience that is referenced in the Bible that's going on in heaven. So that's why the devil wants to rob us of that experience. That's why we need to lovingly encourage and bless one another by that, and have no idea that worship is just about me and what I do, either by opting out or by opting in. We're a collective, and that's how we need to worship. And it's relationship. It's my relationship to God. It says speaking to one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, and making to the Lord. Okay, speaking to God, and speaking to one another. That's the deal. So let's not just have a religious experience. Let's have a bad relationship experience rather than a bad religious experience. Because religious experience will always be bad. Relationship may sometimes be bad, but only relationship is going to get us there.